It's sometimes said that teamwork makes the dream work, and over the next 72 hours, that mantra will be rigorously put to the test at a venue which boasts historic locations, stunning terrain, and world-class sporting facilities. In fact, as a former Viking stronghold, the Isle of Man is the perfect setting for the teams of worthy warriors who have turned up to compete in the 2022 CGI UK Challenge. To succeed in this three-day test of mind, body and soul, the teams have to decipher, deduce and demystify all manner of mental puzzles, as well as delegate brilliantly to get the best out of each other on the physical stages. This event really is a test of both brains and brawn. Under Viking conqueror Godred Croven's rule, Peel Castle was built on the site of a Celtic monastery. And it's here that the 2022 CGI UK Challenge will begin for over 60 teams who will be battling it out for this year's title. And this opening stage really will be a great first test of their running, cycling, strategy and so much more, as Rob Walker now explains.
Thanks very much, Kevin. We are really looking forward to this three-day festival on the Isle of Man. The hosts have done a wonderful job. It's a superb backdrop. Who is going to come out on top? We have a group of consultants, bankers, engineers, fitness trainers. We've got everyone, and they all want to win.
I think it's a mixture of excitement and nerves, to be honest. None of us have done it before, so yeah, just going to dive into it head first and see how we get on.
It's non-stop, it's chaos, it's teamwork, and that's what's definitely brought me back.
I am looking forward to the final stage. Last year, that was by far the best fun.
Super excited to be back, especially with these girls, championing girls again in sport, loving it.
We've done all the training that we wanted to do, and yeah, we're just ready to come here, have fun and hopefully smash it.
I think the key thing I'm looking forward to though is the sprint start. Gonna smash that every time. You'll see me right at the front. I'm looking to win that one this year.
Great optimism from Gary. Last year's winner, Accenture, are back for more.
It's been a long year waiting, but very excited, and great to have some new blood in the team as well. We lost a little bit of the experience from last year, but I think we've got some strong puzzlers and strong strategists, so yeah, hopefully we can fend off the likes of Waka Waka, who were close on our tail last year.
Well, the magnificently named Team Waka Waka, if you remember, are a group of Chinook pilots who entered for the first time last year and shook up the leaderboard, finishing fourth.
Yeah, it was absolutely awesome last year. Didn't really know what to expect, but really enjoyed it and really glad to be back.
We know roughly what we're capable of in terms of speeds, abilities, fitness. We've all been putting some miles in and training, but we just don't know what the stage is going to ask of us yet, so it really is a case of wait and see.
Well, stage one is in and around the town of Peel on the west coast of the Isle of Man, an area with a huge amount of Viking history. Important to point out, the teams don't know what the next few days have in store, but what they do know is that there's a flat-out sprint to collect the instructions at the beginning of each and every stage, and this is always hotly contested. A little rush of adrenaline as this year's UK Challenge gets underway. Ashraf from Mensa going well in the early stages. Plenty hot on his heels though. Important to remind ourselves as well, the clock doesn't stop when they collect the instructions, so the quicker they get back, the more time they've got to plot their path through the first stage. Really good finish coming up here to this sprint. Oh, look at that. Paddy Roddy from UCL claims the honours in the opening sprint, coming past Ashraf. Well, one or two taking a tumble, quickly back up onto his feet, no harm done on the grass. Now comes the tricky section, time to strategise. Now these are the stage metrics, which tells us while strategy and intelligence are required, this stage is pretty physical as well. Great to see the smiles. On this stage, the teams earn skill points by running all over the hills that surround Peel. Inside the castle itself, a number of challenges await. The more skill points they can accrue before going on to the challenge, the more bonus time they earn if they successfully complete them. Some of these challenges test mind, but some body. Oh, it's not all easy for Mensah. Bit of a learning curve with the archery. Oh, that looks like a 10 out of 10. Oh, maybe not, so harsh.
What's going on?
Our guys are outside with the map. We haven't got the map, but we need to find a TP point, so we're a little bit under pressure.
You got your puzzle brain engaged?
It's the only brain I have, I think, unfortunately.
That's the right attitude. Important to remember, the UK challenge can be so much more complicated and difficult than it first appears. 3 decades of history to this event, and it is proving to be a fantastic way to see the sights and sounds of the Isle of Man. Now, from the running to 2 wheels. Each of these pairs must be very observant on their ride up what we're calling the Valhalla Trail, known locally as the Heritage Trail. They'll be asked questions at the end about what they've seen on the way up, but as of yet, they don't know what the questions will be. Is that important, or is it a red herring? They'll find out at the end of the ride. The weather and the setting really playing their part today. This is fantastic. Some big climbs, bonus points collected. Who is coming out on top in this stage?
We're going the long way round, so we're going to go up the trail and then try and get as many points as we can up top.
Well, the great thing about this event, you've got plenty of time to correct the mistakes and plenty of time to enjoy the occasion. These teams have trained hard before arriving on the Isle of Man. They're going to make the most of every single second of each of the 3 days. And after some dodgy dancing and energetic heel clicks, they make their way back down towards Peel and the very end of the opening stage. And they'll find out how they've gone after the electronic scoring is complete.
Oh, it's pretty hard. I think what I kind of expected. I'm not sure we did really well. The puzzles were hard, and I think we struggled on the bike. But overall, a lot of fun.
Finishing strongly there. Looks like you did all right.
Well, we feel like we did. I mean, you never know till you see those results, which is why I'm nervous at the moment, because the team is still there. But it was a great. I mean, the scenery out there was fantastic. It was just good fun.
Out of all the puzzles, we got maybe 1 answer we didn't get, maybe 2.
A good first stage for you, you think?
Well, we're going to look at the results off camera. Just in case.
We did pretty well. I think some of it's frustrating when you can't convert the effort you put in on the physical side, but you know, we did good enough to be up there.
Do you think you've done a great job?
I think we did okay. We still made a few rookie errors, so definitely still some learning to be had, but a lot to take forward to the next stage.
Having started in style this afternoon, Stage 2 sees the teams working late into the night as they plot a route around the historic Tynwald Hill, the site of the ancient Viking council. Then, as now, intelligence and communication will go hand in hand as the main teams try to establish an early lead. And excitingly for all the teams, this is the first time that they'll have taken a look at that leaderboard after that opening stage this afternoon. And for some of them, where they're currently sitting is a welcome surprise.
Defending champions Accenture going well. They sit top after the end of stage 1. CGI 7 minutes adrift with Enigma and Airbus both 9 minutes off the pace. Waka Waka are in 7th, but it's looking good for Accenture in the early stages.
We thought it was a good stage, but it was, you never know until you get the results up. So yeah, really chuffed.
I actually didn't realise we did that well, so I'm pretty happy.
One of the most fun-loving teams has got to be the guys from Enigma. They've competed for 3 years. They've never finished in the top half of the results, so they are riding high with joint 3rd.
Oh, yeah, that is impressive. We have got no idea how we have got to 3rd place. Honestly, haven't got a clue.
Smiling because, what does the leaderboard say?
Surprise that we're 2nd.
Don't be surprised, it was natural. Of course we were expected to be 2nd.
Well, stage 2 is a matchup of brain and brawn. Some bonus time will be earned for running the distance. Other bonus time will be secured by performance at each of the puzzle points. And remember, they've got to put the grey matter into action as fatigue begins to take hold. Teamwork of paramount importance here, and some of these squads don't know each other that well. It's a wonderful opportunity for them to become acquainted with each other's strengths. One or two finding these early puzzle points pretty difficult. Surely if you're from Mensa though, you should be nailing these, shouldn't you?
You are the only person in the last 5 minutes to get that right. How on earth did you do it?
Mensa training, you know, studying 24 hours.
Enigma have done the same.
How did you do that?
I've got guess.
Oh, come on.
Good work, good work.
Excellent work, excellent work.
You have to love those guys for their honesty and the sense of fun with which they're grappling their way through this second stage. And as night begins to fall, the fatigue levels rise, but there is no lack of effort or intent. Puzzle points get ever more difficult. All this bonus time will be of pivotal importance come the final stage at the end of Saturday. Well, there'll be enough time for a few hours sleep this evening, and then they'll have to go again first thing tomorrow morning. A tough but fulfilling end to day one.
Genuinely surprised at how well we did on stage 1, but you know what, that went really well. We were quite pleased with that one as well.
And Team Waka Waka look pretty pleased with themselves as well, don't they?
We had a good strategy, we stuck to it. We think it's given us a good few points and we finished it relatively quickly, so I think we're into a good position here, I think.
Waka Waka maybe have aspirations of taking this title. The other teams determined to enjoy it. Not too worried about the first, second and third. Speaking of which, Accenture are on top of the leaderboard after stage 2. Waka Waka have climbed to second, 8 minutes adrift, with CGI a further 2 minutes behind. 4 teams from AWE in the top 10.
So after what was hopefully a good night's rest, the teams are up and at 'em early on the start of day 2. They've had a chance to regroup and they're going to need it because they're going to have to think fast on their feet and their bikes for this one to combat the threat of a hypothetical global health crisis. Can the teams conjure up a cure in the time allowed to save the day, but more importantly, to maximise the points in their quest to take the UK Challenge crown?
We had such an epic stage last night, like teamwork, morale, like everything was just so high from yesterday. So I think we've just carried on from that, if I'm honest.
I'm just looking at your name badges here. You're all brackets Bob. Why are you all called Bob?
Minions! Do you not think we look like that?
Waka Waka are up to second. They need a good strategy today.
We've got a plan at the moment, but obviously that's all subject to getting the maps, which we haven't seen yet. So, and given the amount of real estate around here, it looks like it could be a pretty long distance to get around the route.
Who's going to do the sprint start this morning, the run to get the instructions?
I'll do it.
Right, James, you're on for the sprint. It's going to be a good one.
Yeah, looking forward to it. Yeah, bring it on.
James absolutely taking one for the team for CGI at the start of stage 3. Paddy Rodder sprinted well yesterday for UCL. We can expect him to feature at the beginning of this charge for the instructions on this bright, stunning morning. But that's Mark Linarts from Brand Loyalty at the front. Tall figure. Oh, and how about that nonchalant shoulder from Paddy Rodder? Brushes his rival aside, and he's really going for this. I reckon he'd make a good 400 or 800 metre runner. A little bit steadier the pace on those chasing him down. But what a good start by Rodder, tearing open the instructions. Remember, the clock doesn't stop. He gives his team UCL a slender advantage on this, the stage designed by Clinigen.
This is the bit that people don't realise. You guys actually have a real plan going on, and it's not just legging it around and cycling around as fast as you can, is it?
It's not, absolutely not. I wish it was. That'd be a lot easier for our team, but there's a lot of strategy going on, and yeah, it's a lot of chaos.
Huge amount of thought required on this stage, designed around a hypothetical global virus.
It's not just difficult mentally, is you know, we haven't had an awful lot of sleep. We were out all day yesterday. We've just been on the bikes and back, so you've got to really balance that physical and mental, and that's where the challenge really lies.
Well, on this stage, the team collect blood supply points around the South Barul forest. The more of these supply points they get, the better the vaccine will be. But there's a catch. They need the ingredients to make the vaccine as high quality as possible, and they're not given away for free. Teams must correctly solve the puzzles before they can get their hands on the ingredients.
150, 109, so you need 7 more.
I don't know. So he's doing some complicated maths. He's a physicist.
157 periodic table.
See if you can have a go at this one. I am the son of a chemist and a mathematician. People call me Iron 59. What is my name? You might be doing this from the comfort of your living room, but remember, they're on the move and they're tired.
What's iron in chemistry? Fe?
Fe.
I think it is.
Yeah, it is.
59, I'm only thinking Roman numerals. What else can it be? Oh, it's...
Scrabble.
Oh, sorry, LIX. Felix. Thank you.
Sorry,
Oh, CGI make that look ridiculously simple.
Roman numerals.
So did you get it?
Yeah, Roman numerals. Felix.
Good job he whispered that. I must admit, I would have had no chance. Some getting it right.
Did you get it right?
Of course I didn't. It's the taking part that counts.
That's the spirit. Not everyone can be successful with every puzzle point.
It's worth a try.
And remember, if they don't successfully solve it, they do get the ingredients, but only half.
We've only got like 20 minutes, so just made a quick decision, take 50% of the ingredients and then try and do as best we can. Happy days.
We couldn't figure out the name. We don't have enough time to get back up. So basically what we decided is we're going to hit the next one, do another half, do it, get back, and we'll hit the time. So that was our thinking. Keep it simple, don't make mistakes.
Well, a very solid piece of tactical play there for PA Consulting. Some of these points are up to 10 kilometres apart. This is going to test the lungs as well as the brains.
It's going well, a bit slower starting than we were hoping. Our runners got a little bit lost, but we're just going to sprint to finish now and hopefully cure some diseased people.
How good will their vaccines be? Some pretty confident faces heading in towards the finish, but they'll only know exactly how good they've been after they've crossed the line.
It was a hard one, and we were a little bit cautious with our times and planning, so we'll see.
Airbus look like they've had fun.
We probably overestimated slightly our capabilities, but yeah, it was good.
As always, finishing in high spirits.
Oh, it's got to be done, hasn't it? And with motivated here, you can't be unhappy.
Tough going for the airborne boys of Waka Waka.
Hard work, it was a bit of a slog. I think the results will show that whether our tactics were right or not. There's just so many little gotchas in there. I think, you know, there's teams that will definitely have done better, but hopefully we're up there.
I think everything took maybe a little bit longer than we anticipated, but I think we managed to save it a little bit towards the end, so should hopefully be okay.
I think that might be slipping down a bit, so we've got a lot of work to do, but I think we're up for the challenge.
Well, AWE Maroon went well. They're up 3 places to 5th in the standings, 40 minutes off the pace being set by Accenture. Waka Waka only 6 minutes adrift of the defending champions.
And now on to one of the key stages of the competition, which is also scheduled to be the longest at over 4.5 hours. This epic should see the teams kayaking and then cycling and running their way to the summit of Snaefell Mountain, which is also the highest point on the Isle of Man. But as you can see at the moment, the weather really isn't playing ball, so that decision is in the hands of the safety team. Nonetheless, whatever happens over the course of the afternoon, the team that makes the best of this one will have taken one big step closer to the title.
Well, as we've just been hearing from Kevin, this stage will take in excess of 4 hours. The elements adding to the intrigue and the sense of expectation. This will be the first chance the teams will have had to kayak in this competition, but first of all, the customary sprint to get the stage instructions. And it's you-know-who battling his way to the top of the ascent. Paddy Rodder going well, and as you can see here, this is a tough physical and strategic test, and the elements adding to the occasion.
When we practiced in the sun, it was glorious, best, beautiful summer. We felt like you're on holiday in the Mediterranean, so this is going to be a bit different.
There's a smile in there somewhere, isn't there?
I didn't notice you there.
Of course there is.
Lovely
Look at that. There's...
Smiling.
You're looking forward to this?
Absolutely. I don't really care about the rain. It is what it is.
That's the spirit. Teams are split into 3 pairs on this one for simultaneous kayaking, biking and running. The Isle of Man providing the perfect setting for all 3 disciplines. The big question is, who's getting wet first? Various checkpoints for those on the inflatable kayaks to find. The weather beginning to clear up, or am I being an optimist? Superb off-road running conditions. I wonder if it's as heavy going for the cyclists. They look like they're in good spirits. The Isle of Man have rewritten all the rules for this weekend. And they all seem to be enjoying it, even as the weather closes in towards the very top of this stage.
We gave ourselves half an hour and it took set 18, so pretty happy with that. And yeah, hopefully our guys haven't got 3 puzzles already, so we can get the old bonus point.
Oh, that was quite the cycle.
That was Motivate Ted doing on the back there.
I think he's a bit wet, but
still there.
he had a lovely view going up.
The idea of this one is to get as many of the 3 pairs to the top point on the course as possible.
Great first stage this morning, and then yeah, challenging weather obviously, but team spirits are high and everyone's loving the day, so yeah, it's good.
AWE successfully reached the summit. They've won this event in the past.
That's 4 of your team of 6 up here, I think.
Yep. Hopefully the other 2 will be up here soon.
Loving it so far. Weather's terrible, but everyone's out here in spirit. Just been a great time.
Here come the boys in yellow. Waka Waka heading to the top.
This is our 3rd pair up the top. We sent 1 pair pretty early, 2nd pair in the middle of the road, and now we're on for our 3rd pair. We've got 8 puzzles as well, so hopefully if we work this out right, we should be able to take the early finish, which would be nice.
All 6 of your team up here, the map's out, it's all playing out for you, isn't it?
Yeah, it's been all right. We just need to get back now on time. Nothing stupid on the way down with the wet weather, and should be all good.
Well, what goes up must come down, and hopefully it'll feel a little bit easier on the quads and the lungs. All these team members will have earned a cup of tea and something warm at the end of stage 4. Now, this is another chance to see if you are UK Challenge material. Can you work out the length of Y? We may be doing this from the comfort of our own homes. They're contending with midges, sweat and growing fatigue. Apparently, those far brainier than me tell me that you divide the square area by the length you do know, and that will give you the length of the other side of the rectangle. And by that process, you might, hopefully, come up with the answer of 23. I've got to be honest, I would have had absolutely no chance. But if you got that, maybe you fancy entering a team next year. It's July 2023 in the Peak District.
Kate, well done. You were timing that to the second.
Oh, to the second, yeah, it was good. But we're freezing cold, so very keen to get nice and warm.
Well, Waka Waka look like they've brought in a soon-to-be former Prime Minister to their team.
That was hard. That was a tough stage. That is, yeah, we did, 7 stages last year. We've done 4 this year, and that's probably the hardest of the lot.
You're holding helmets and paddles. What did you end up using mostly this afternoon?
My legs. My legs, and then we've just cycled to the top and back.
Oh, you did it just towards the end of the stage?
The end of the stage, yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah, I don't know how I did it, but there was loads of encouragement from everybody else, so that was fantastic.
Well, Sporting Force ladies didn't want to wait for their bikers to come back, so they decided to run to the top. I wonder if that lung-bursting decision paid off.
Well, we just figured you can get guaranteed time there, so you can't use your bikes for like 30 minutes. Why waste the time? Let's just get up there and get back down.
That run up to the Victory Cafe, it was like 2.8 mile run up a steady incline, and you just boosted up there.
Howard. but walking. Power walked up and then sprinted down, basically.
I love the attitude from Sporting Force ladies. Let's take a clarification on the leaderboard. Accenture are still top, just over 3/4 of an hour ahead of Waka Waka. AWE in third and fourth.
Well, day 2 is finishing off by taking advantage of the world-class sporting facilities here in the capital, Douglas. The National Sports Centre and Athletics track will provide the perfect backdrop for a quartet of challenges that will test the scheme's reactions, ball skills, swimming prowess and engineering initiative. And as always, I'm sure a whole lot of fun will be had along the way.
Well, fun this stage may be with the world-class facility of the National Sports Centre being used, but this is coming at the end of a very long day. The teams in the sports hall are building a jigsaw to reveal a game of animal battleships. Well, it's animal battleships stroke charades. The only problem is they can't talk to each other, so have to try and sign the animals. Not sure what that is. A lot of syllables at play there. Big shoulders. Maybe a giraffe. 10, 15 syllables. Keep going. Oh, Humphrey the camel, of course. Elsewhere in the sports hall, reactions are tested to the max. This is tough.
How are we getting on then, gang? Are the reactions on point at this late hour in the evening?
Not really, no. We're way off the mark, but hey, we'll keep going.
Well, I think we're doing all right at the moment. It's all about teamwork though, so yeah, trying to put some tactics in place.
Well, as they approach midnight, this is so much harder than it may first appear. Oh, a swift change of direction required. A hot bath might be needed after this one. Oh, he wins the award for the dramatic lunge. Well, from a lunge to a plunge. Over in the pool, they're taking on the water-based equivalent of the famous Tower of Hanoi puzzle. Small hoops can only go on bigger hoops. Brain power could save some lengths and time here. Well, it's approaching 1 a.m. and they've already only been operating off about 3 or 4 hours sleep last night. Fantastic stroke technique from 1 or 2 of these competitors. Maybe a few decent triathletes have volunteered for the water here on this one.
How are the team getting on in the pool this evening?
Okay, not too bad. A few communication issues, but I think we've got the idea now.
Well, when the freestyle gets too much, you can always resort to backstroke.
I don't know whether it's the best strategy, but it's a working strategy, you know. We got to one and to the other with all the hoops. There's a lot of ways to do this, but I think great swim, he swam the whole way, so he's done great.
Well, however fast or slowly they completed the aquatic version of the Tower of Hanoi, that has been a very, very long day.
The whole principle of UK Challenge is teamwork, and Stage 6 provides an opportunity to showcase the leaders of each group. Time to find out then which one of these captains of industry has got the bit between their teeth and is ready for the final furlong of the competition.
Well, they might not have had much sleep, but the sun is shining for this sprint start at Balavatin Equestrian Centre. Paddy Rodder, once again, already up on the rest of the teams. That is quite some lead for UCL. All smiles as they prepare for yet another test of brain. Now, this stage involves the company's execs. Can they lead efficiently?
I mean, we're not going to get cocky. You know, there's still 2 stages to go, so focus on the end game. We've got a strategy. We're going to play that out.
So the idea here on the Marco Polo Mint stage is that the execs need to do deals with the other teams on the ever-changing, fluctuating stock market.
I can do 2 for 3, so you give me 3 and I give you 2.
Well, I'm sure that deal makes sense to him.
Give me 6. Yeah. Thank you very much.
Quick decisions and a quick wit needed here. Now we'll get to see what the chief execs are made of in the ever-changing world of finance. And whilst the leaders are doing the deals, the rest of the team are running to collect the funds to trade with. Wonder who's got the easier job there. No extra Wonga to play with on that occasion.
Excellent, thank you.
There's some extra green. The clock is ticking. Time in this case is absolutely money. They could be on Wall Street. Instead, they're in an equestrian centre. Teams making the most of every single second right at the end of this stage.
Yeah? 3 for 3. There you go. Thank you.
One last exchange to make the most of every second of time on that leaderboard.
Nice doing business for you. And same to you.
And so on to the climax of the competition, a final stage which is fastest to the finish line, where once again fleet of foot will have to be matched by quick thinking. And remember, it is not just the UK Challenge title on the line here. Oh no, the winners will see themselves going to the Euro Challenge in September and 2024's World Team Challenge. So there's lots to play for.
There most certainly is, Kevin, and going into the last stage, Waka Waka have just sneaked into the lead by over 2 minutes from Accenture. AWE in third. Airbus have 3 teams in the top 10. None of the teams have seen this leaderboard. The pressure is on to make the most of each and every second.
I think we had a few mistakes in the last stage, so it means there is everything to play for on this one. It's going to be tight. So we're going to have to do some hard work up those hills.
So too will the boys from Waka Waka in what is only their second year in the event. Impressive.
Yes, they took a lot out of us, but yeah, stage 7 will be the final push, do or die, just bury yourself. We don't need to be able to walk tomorrow, we're driving home.
Well, there was some heroic running yesterday from the Sporting Force ladies. I wonder what energy they've got left today.
I'm looking forward to this one actually, because it's just what we're all about, pure grit and determination, and get to the end as fast as we can. Leave it all on the course today, innit? There's nothing left after lunch.
Rob, when we woke up this morning, you guys were on the bubble. You can still get yourself on the podium.
Yeah, we're not far off. We'll go out, do our best on this one, and then see where we end up.
The UCL star man looks poised and ready once again.
Every time I watch the sprint to the washing line, the race to the washing line, you're the man that's out in front. Fantastic effort. 1 to go. Are you going to do it on this one?
I hope so. I'm better at the longer stuff, and this one's longer, so yeah.
You've proved to be good at the shorter stuff and the longer stuff.
None of them are that short. I was fearing it'd be 100 metres, which would be not my thing.
Well, he's clearly a man who thrives on middle distance. Paddy Rodder, can he make it a complete sweep of sprint victories? He'll like this one because it is quite long. He's got a really good effective stride. He's a good size for an 8 or 1500 metre runner. And what a lead he's creating as he turns to his left and takes on that big incline. He's already ahead by some margin. That is quite some advantage. I hope he hasn't gone too hard too early. He must know what he's doing. 1 or 2 going well in pursuit. They battle with each other. Maybe they can pull him back a touch. Step by step, he's edging towards grabbing the last set of instructions. Superb setting here in Port Sodric Glen. Paper in hand. A big dash to the finish. Oh, and they're beginning to close on him here. Fantastic run by the man from UCL in the pink trainers. You've got to be good if you wear shoes that bright. I think he is going to take this last sprint title. Well, it's not a title, but you know what I mean. He's been running brilliantly all weekend. But he's beginning to rock and roll a little bit here. And they are closing, the runners in second and third. Oh, yes, just. Paddy becomes the sprint champion, and once again he gives UCL a slender advantage at the start of the bike stage. It's low-ish on strategy, this one. It's about a race to the finish, but it wouldn't be the UK Challenge without some puzzles along the way. Some of them have to be completed before they can move on. Some big old gradients to take on here. Teamwork to the fore. They are really feeling it, some of these teams. Waka Waka desperate to take this title. They've got a chance. They don't know this, but they lead by 2 minutes overall. Accenture in second place. They've won this title in the past. But how about this on the descent? Waka Waka storming through. They're on the ground as opposed to being in the air where they're most comfortable. But they've shown just how much they've learned in this, only their second time in the competition, sweeping past the team from Radius. Thighs burning. Little glance over his shoulder. All the teammates are still there. Great slipstreaming going on.
Bikes down over there, bikes down first.
Now, this is Waka Waka arriving at the first puzzle point.
Ready?
They've got 10 minutes here. Even if they realise after 10 seconds they've got no chance of solving the puzzle, they must stay here. So getting to grips with this puzzle is important. This one's a spot the difference. Can you spot the difference in the two images and say what grid the difference is in? There is only one. Well, Radius were overtaken by Waka Waka on the bike, but they may well have got to grips with this quicker than the team vying for the title. Waka Waka now have it. Accenture going well. Minimal time lost there by Waka Waka. They will be back out in front of Radius pretty soon. Accenture still in hot pursuit. They'd love to win this title again. It's a familiar sight. Radius with Waka Waka quickly catching them up. Now, did you get this? F1 on the bottom grid, writing on the cap. F1 on the top grid, no writing on the cap. I would have been okay with that one, but some of the mathematical challenges would have been a nightmare for me, which shows you...
Wonderful.
Lovely, thank you.
Different teams have different strengths and weaknesses. Well, how about this from the organisers and the hosts on the Isle of Man? They have closed the road on Marine Drive. It is a stunning, stunning ride back towards Douglas. Waka Waka, remember, desperate to take this title. That's Accenture. Look like they're enjoying this, don't they? Every second might count as they head in towards the finish. That's AWE, who are in 6th overall. Waka Waka in that familiar yellow. And this is what awaits them here at Douglas Bay. Waka Waka in the lead, followed by Airbus.
Okay, yeah. Got the landmark.
Now at this puzzle point, they've got to work out what landmarks are on the horizon by a series of 4 dingbats. This is one of 4 they've got to solve. Think catchphrase, say what you see. Once again, easier said than done with the little amount of sleep they've had and the fatigue they will be feeling. Can you solve this one? All viewable from the Isle of Man. It's a wheelbarrow in a furnace, barrow in furnace, which on a clear day is viewable from the Isle of Man. PA Consulting first to crack the 4 landmark dingbats. They're on their way. Not long before they're being hunted down by Waka Waka. The bright blue of Airbus still in close contention as well. We're in for a gripping climax here. And there come the team from Accenture. It is definitely all still to play for. That's what the organisers wanted. One of the closest finishes in UK Challenge history. Remember, there's 3 decades of history of these teams competing, and this arguably one of the most memorable. The setting here at the Isle of Man has been brilliant. They're going off-road, heading back down to the coast. When they return to Port Sodric, they'll leave the bikes for good and have a 5-kilometre burn up towards the finish. This will test the bike handling skills. Airbus and Waka Waka at the front of the field. Faces a picture of concentration and determination. Holding their own here, Airbus. A little bit of a gap on Waka Waka, who aren't closing as quickly as we might have been expecting. I think Airbus are enjoying this, you know. They're riding really well in single file. They must be beginning to feel it. There's the leader for Accenture, desperately trying to close the gap on the two teams up ahead. Now, here's an interesting point.
Go, go, go. I'll catch you up.
The teams can opt to do the entire cycling lap again. If all four of them decide to go for it, and that is the case for Airbus and Waka Waka,
Right, go boys, go, go, go.
they can get a time bonus of 45 minutes. If they go for 3 cyclists round again, it's 42 minutes. If only 2 of them decide to have a crack, which is the case with AWE, they can reclaim 40 minutes. In other words, if they can get round this circuit, and this second time doesn't involve any puzzle points, if they can get round in under 45 minutes, every minute they're quicker than 45 is time that comes off. So they're gambling that they're fit enough to make the most of this opportunity. Accenture are going for it, perhaps pressured into it by Waka Waka and Airbus. But PA Consulting, Team 25, opting against the extra circuit. And every moment these teams deliberate, the clock carries on ticking.
We should, do you reckon we'll do it in 40 minutes? Less than 40 minutes to make it work?
Yeah, we can.
We should do it in less than 40.
But we do only 3 for extra points, I can keep up.
Yeah, let's do it. That gives us 43 minutes.
Well, this team from Airbus have just spent 25 seconds deciding whether or not to go for it. There's one of the teams in yellow, but that's not Waka Waka. They're still out on the course.
Go, go, go!
Go, go, go comes the cry. But imagine the fatigue that is taking hold. No stops for puzzles this time, so no rest on the thighs, the quads and the calves. PA Consulting, who opted against the extra circuit, are on to the final part of the stage, the 5K run. Lovely mix of off-road and tarmac. They'll have to wait to see whether this gamble will have paid off. Obviously decided they were too fatigued to take advantage of that extra circuit. And that was the case for around about 50% of our teams. So half are still out on the bike circuit again, the other half are heading towards the finish. Cajoling their teammates along. They're nearly there, but this wouldn't be the UK Challenge without an absolute stinker of a puzzle point. This is arguably the hardest question to solve of the lot, and it's just about the last one. The only information they're given is that the little white square in the centre is 4 centimetres squared. From that, they have to deduce the total square area of the overall rectangle. This one is an absolute horror show. And even if they realise they can't solve this within seconds of arriving, they must stay here for the full 10 minutes. This is a real sting in the tail for all these teams, and they are finding this incredibly difficult.
Wait. Where you go?
Right, Waka Waka have finished their extra loop. They have done it in 27:44, so they've made up around 18 minutes. Here come Airbus. They're around 28.5 minutes for that loop instead of 27:44, so they've lost another 45 seconds or so on Waka Waka. The gamble has paid off for both teams deciding to do the extra circuit. Good work. AWE's pair of cyclists coming in. Still no sign yet of Accenture. Here come Waka Waka, ready to ditch the bikes and get on the road for that 5K run into the finish.
Down the hill, yeah? Let's go.
No wasted time for them. They would love to take this crown. So too would Airbus. They've won this title on numerous occasions. Really efficient dismount on the mountain bike. Still no sign of Accenture yet.
Good to go. Watch out!
Good to go. Yes, they are. There comes AWE 31. Really good support for all these teams. Ditch the bikes and they're on their way. 3 and a bit miles separate Waka Waka from this title. But of course, they've got that puzzle point to contend with as well. Then at last come Accenture, but a little bit behind here. Have they got anything come the closing stages? These guys are looking pretty comfortable, 5 of them running fairly close together. This is excellent teamwork.
We dropped down a lot yesterday, unfortunately, so just see how far back up we can climb if possible.
Are we looking at a quintet of champions? Are we looking at a team who've got this right? Nobody's done it yet. A full 10 minutes wasted for these teams. At last, they can think about that jog into the finish. This puzzle point is proving mighty difficult. Oh, but the Enigma guys have done it. What a show of brilliance towards the end of the competition from them. With the average age of 55, showing its brains over brawn.
Yes, let's go.
And typically, Mentor have got it right as well, but they're the only 2 so far. Right, here come the Waka Waka boys. They have cycled brilliantly, they've run brilliantly. Can they think brilliantly?
No.
Accenture still on their bikes. Now coming in for the beginning of the 5K run. This is beginning to look very good for Waka Waka. The 10 minutes elapses, it probably feels like a lifetime. Right, at last, the potential champions are on their way. What an absolutely stunning setting this has been. And what a finish. And what celebrations from all of these teams who have thoroughly enjoyed their hospitality and their test on the mountains, the roads and the sports centres of the Isle of Man. I'm not sure it's going to be Accenture's title this year, but a great effort from them nonetheless. Here come the helicopter pilots, flying high at the moment, making short work of the descent. And there's a guard of honour for 1 or 2 of these teams. Determined to finish together. I think they know they've got this. Airbus have won it so many times, not to be a podium finish today, but that's a great effort.
Everyone together as one from so many different locations. A lot of these guys didn't know each other before, and look what you got now.
And that's the whole point of the UK Challenge. All these teams finishing with a smile on their face, especially the guys from Waka Waka. They've done it. They've taken the title.
To do it with these lads, perfect intro. Love the island, love the race, the camaraderie. Just been brilliant.
From stage 3, we have just been smashing out every stage, and bear in mind, got a team of novices and our captain who's experienced. We've smashed it, and I think everyone's worked well together, so cheers to that.
A magnificent effort by the team from Accenture. Not enough for the title this year, but they've really gone for it.
It's been a great event, gorgeous scenery, some tough stages, but we've had a really fantastic team, so I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, and Dan, again, you know, running at the front last year, back doing it again this year. What was this year's event like for you on the Isle of Man?
Yeah, it was amazing. This final stage, having the closed bike road, was amazing.
The Chinook pilots were too good for everyone. Accenture finished second, just over 10 minutes adrift. AWE were third. A superb long weekend of world-class sport and strategy. And the beers will flow for the pilots They reign supreme on the Isle of Man.
The island's been a fantastic place to race. The weather's been variable, the terrain is savage. And yeah, what a great competition, what a great few days.
I've got to know a lot of people from loads of different sites that I would never normally interact with, and I think it's fantastic.
We see people right across our company working together. You know, it's part of our branding, part of the stuff that we do about collaboration, and this is just the start of it. And these guys will go back and it will cross-pollinate across the company.
Loads of fun, loads of laughs, giggles, the usual.
Genuinely couldn't have asked for a better bunch of people to spend it with, like for my first adventure.
We are amazed at how well we've done this year. We're very, very happy. The Viking Challenge, we've got the crown, so we are winners, all of us. Loved it.
Well, this is what it's all about, isn't it? The winner's medal and that feeling afterwards. Well done to all of the warriors who took part this weekend on this former Viking colony. What a fitting end to a great weekend of sport, strategy and teamwork. Of course, the winners, though, for them, it doesn't end there. They will be heading to the Euro Challenge in September and then the World Challenge in 2 years' time. We'll be back, though, next year in 2023 in the Peak District, where once again, we'll be proving that old adage that teamwork really does make the dream work. See ya.